Hey everyone. Welcome to our next recording here, our recorded lesson. We're going to talk today about a couple different things. So, the first thing, and as always, I have my notes, so I'll be looking down. That's what I'm looking at. The first thing is your daily participation. Um, I have been mostly happy with the number of students attempting to do the daily participation, getting that done. That's very important. I don't know how much I can stress that, but it's really, really important that you do that. Um, However, some of you aren't quite putting forth the effort I would like. Some of you, I think, might be a little bit confused about what I was wanting. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. First of all, for this daily participation, you are being asked to write a sentence. I know it's online. I know that you're used to just writing whatever, especially anything digital like your text messages and stuff, but this is school. Okay, so kind of try to remember that. That means a few things. One, beginning of your sentence should be capitalized. All right, that's just the way it is. We capitalize for a few different reasons. One, beginning of a sentence, that's one of them. Also we have proper and common nouns. Hopefully you didn't forget that from last year, but if you did, we have proper and common nouns. Proper nouns like names and places, specific names and specific places, they need to be capitalized too. So, you need to remember to do that. Punctuation. Some of you are just kind of writing stuff and then you're not having a period or a question mark or anything at the end. You should be doing that, guys. 7th grade. Come on. I know it's different with it being NTI, but even still, when I say write a sentence, I mean write a sentence. Finally, some of you are not quite getting the word right, and I'm not as concerned about that, especially since I'm not like in person teaching with you guys, because I just want to familiarize these vocab words with you. Like, I want you to be able to be familiar with them. If you see them, be like, oh, well, at least I've seen that word before. Maybe you kind of remember what it is. But the best way to kind of make sure that you're using the words correctly is to take the definition of the word and try to replace that in the sentence where you put the word. So for example, and let me back up a second. Some of you are just putting part of the definition in a sentence, but I actually want you to use the vocabulary word in the sentence. Okay, so for example, tomorrow's word is attentive. Attentive. Attentive, attentive. And it says that it means alert and watchful or listening carefully. So I was attentive today during my live meet, right? So if I replaced the word attentive with the definition, I could say I was alert and watchful during my live meet. I was listening carefully during my live meet. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. Okay. So that means you've probably used that word correctly. If I said, I attentive during the live meet, because you may not know all these words. Attentive might be one you know, but you may not know all the words that I put on here for your daily participation. If I say I attentive during the live meet, if it says I listening carefully during the live meet, that should sound wrong to you. It should be I am attentive. I am listening carefully. Okay? So try replacing wherever you put that word with the definition that was given to you and see if it makes sense. Hopefully that will help a few more of you out. I think that's all I have to say right now about daily participation. If I need to say more, I'll obviously do that in another video. Kind of a reminder, your homework from last week, that cultural slide, is due today. All right. So what that means is really by midnight. Now I would like it a lot sooner than that. You've had a whole week to do it, because I'll start kind of going through and looking to see who's done it, who hasn't done it, who's turned it in. Even though you don't have to attach a slide or anything, you do need to go to your Google Classroom and turn it in. Okay, so I'll go in there and I'll see, who has not turned it in. And I'll start kind of going through, and just mainly this one assignment is just making sure that you've done it, because how am I supposed to tell you, no, that's not what you're really like, so this is more of like a, did you do it or not? Okay. And did you put more than like one word? If you just put like your name and then put like funny or something, I'll probably ask you to do a little more than that. But the requirements are very lax on this one, okay? But you need to do it. But anyway, we'll share some of those slides, hopefully, on Wednesday's live meet, okay? We can't really do it during Monday's live meet, because not everybody might be done with them, because you do technically have until midnight. So yeah, we'll look at some of those on Wednesday, hopefully. Okay. And now kind of like on to what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to start talking very generally. It's a topic that everybody has probably heard of 1,000 times over the school years. You review it every year. As with a lot of English things, you just kind of adapt it to different types of readings, different types of writings. It gets harder. We're asking more of you with each of the things, but you're reviewing the same sort of concepts. So we're talking about central idea. Some people call it main idea. Same thing, okay? And as you can see here, I have some little graphics here to help you. But we'll get to that in just a second. So right now, central idea, main idea. If you've ever read anything, which you have, if you've ever read anything and somebody asks you, so what's that about? Or not even read, if you've watched something, your favorite show that you watched over the summer, your favorite book that you read ever, whatever. If somebody asks you, hey, what's that about? And you were like, oh, it's about this person who does this and they go here and it's about, all this kind of crazy stuff. That's a main idea, right? That's all that is. You don't have to make it more complicated than that. It's a sentence, maybe two, like basically a summary of what the heck the whole thing was about. Okay, so let me go to these documents, because this is kind of what I want here. And again, the documents on my page here are going to be incredibly helpful. Like for your culture slide, you could have come back to this and you could kind of look at, you can click on this to make it bigger, but you can kind of click on this and see what is in this, so that you would have known maybe what you could have put down on your slide. Okay. But here are the 3 documents that I have for this recorded session here. This one here is very basic. Okay, I think it was intended for a younger grade than you all right? But I think it's a good reminder, because y'all have been out of school, whether it's NTI or whatever, for a while. So finding the main idea. You can have a main idea in fiction or in nonfiction, okay? You're more commonly going to get asked about main idea with nonfiction, which means stuff that's true, okay, not fake stuff, like articles, okay, like essays, all right? You're more likely going to get asked main idea about that. But as I was just saying, about a book or a movie or whatever, you can get asked about the main idea and it still works, okay? So what was the story mostly about? All right, what do I notice over and over, right? If you're watching a show about, I don't know, a spy or something, Okay, that's something that you're going to want to mention. If they are spying in one episode of a series because they happen to be tagging along with their friend who's a spy, then you probably wouldn't mention that in the main idea. It's kind of a thing that happened, but it's not like the thing that happens over and over again. It's not what the story is mostly about. But if you have a story where literally every episode, they're talking about their spy life or something, that would be something that would be part of the main idea. Okay. In nonfiction, what does the author want me to know about the topic? It's going to be more than one word. Well, both of these are going to be more than one word, just for the record, but more than one word. First or last sentence can give you a clue and use headings. And that really leads into this next document here. Because if you are reading an essay or if you are reading an article, you're going to have, and we talked about it last year as like a thesis statement, okay? So somewhere in that first paragraph of whatever you're reading, you are probably going to find the main idea, because most good nonfiction writing is going to tell you that right away, straight away in that first paragraph, okay? They'll also usually wrap that up in the conclusion. If you remember, which you may not, in my classes last year, we had our thesis in the first paragraph, but we also would bring up our thesis again in our conclusion paragraph. We would basically either rewrite it, reword it, bring it up again. All right. So yeah, again, the second document here, add the missing title. So if you were given, excuse me, if you were given an article and you read through it and somebody, told you, okay, well, see, look, there's no title here, come up with a title for it. Whatever that title is that you came up with is probably the main idea. So there's a couple of easy ways that you can think of main idea. If somebody asks you, what is this about? And you're just telling them, that's the main idea. Or if you think about it as like a missing title, that could be the main idea. Okay. So, and we may do this activity. We're not actually doing this activity right now. But it says, for this activity, project a short paragraph without a title. Remind students of the strategy we've been using, first and last sentences, which is what I was just talking about in the paragraphs. Okay. And then create a title for a passage, right? And so this is just kind of, it's more directed towards a teacher, but you can see that this is how you would find a main idea. Okay. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought you might actually think, oh, so it's basically just like a title of a paper. Yeah. But again, it's not one word. Okay. Because that sort of starts leaning into like theme or something or topic. And this is not a topic, right? There is, and we may look at it on here, but there is a brain pop for main idea. And the brain pop kind of shows you the difference between topic and main idea. So questions to determine main idea. I'm not sure I love these questions because I think it almost makes it more confusing than it really is. But it might help some of you. So before reading whatever article or essay, read the title. What's the book about? What's the topic? Again, the brain pop that we'll watch here in just a second is kind of talking about what the topic is versus the main idea. While you're reading, okay, look for and carefully read text features. That means like subheadings and that kind of thing. Is the book or article or essay fiction or nonfiction? Okay, should be pretty apparent. Look for information, words, and pictures that are repeated. And then after reading, think about the most important part of the topic. Okay, what details or examples back up and support the main idea? All right, so let's actually, and these photos are just this right here that I've already showed you, so that's cool. Yeah, so anyway, before I play this brain pop, your two assignments this week, you have two assignments, okay? One is this Brain Pop worksheet. Now, I've never done Brain Pop formally like this online. I've showed Brain Pop in my classrooms before, but I've never done it online. So I'm hoping that it works. But there's a worksheet that we'll look at here. Let me just click over to it. There's a worksheet that just has you practice. See, look, it's a little paragraph, not long at all. And it has you practice what is the topic of the passage, and you can click in it, type what words or ideas are stressed. Okay, what important details does the passage cover? What is the passage's main idea? Where in the passage is the main idea stated? All right, so this is like your progression grade. Okay, it's like your homework or classwork grade. All right, the other assignment is the one that is, I'm using it as a mastery grade because I want you to take your time with it, and it actually requires you to write for me 2 paragraphs. You get a week to do 2 paragraphs. It's not too much. Because what you're going to do, and you'll see that in your Google assignments, okay, is you're going to have a Google form that you click on, and it's going to ask you to read. I give you 6 different articles to choose from. You pick 2 of them. Okay, so you have a little bit of choice there of what you want to actually read. And then you write me at least 4 sentences per article about what its central idea is and some evidence from the text that supports your central idea. So if you say that the central idea is, and it's not, I'm using this from the Brain Pop, you'll see. But if you're saying that the central idea is that cheetahs can run fast, okay, then you have to be able to support that idea with evidence. Okay, let me play the Brain Pop. Oh no, didn't just go back where I wanted it to. Okay, main idea. Let's just do this. No big deal. It'll be fast. Okay, there we go. Here's the Brain Pop video. All right, guys. So we just watched the Brain Pop on Main Idea, and um, so now, like I said, your assignment then is to do the worksheet for Brain Pop, which will be popping up on your Google Classroom, and then also to do that Google form where you're writing me 2 paragraphs. Okay, and that'll be due actually next Tuesday. Almost everything is due on Monday, but next Monday is Labor Day. So I'll give you that extra day. I don't know if your other teachers are doing that, but I thought it was silly to make you have something due on a day that you technically didn't have school. So, all right, guys, I will see you in future videos and future live meets. And let me know if you have questions. Again, easiest way to get me to answer questions for you, really, number one way is email. But I'm generally pretty good about Google Classroom comments as well. Sometimes I miss those just because there are a lot every day with the daily questions and stuff, but I'm pretty good about it, I think. So if I don't answer you within a day, all right, um, maybe a day and a half, then you can send me another comment or another email. Okay. All right, guys. See you later.